Hey team, welcome back to HGDC. We have progress on the bag. I have a name, I have a design, I have the yarns, and I have yarn on the way. Hey team, welcome back to HG Designs Crochet, HGDC. I'm Heather. I have a thing about granny squares and pink and leopard print. I'm pretty certain that I'm autistic, and here I am, learning, healing and oversharing my way through adult diagnosis, running a creative business and parenthood, and a little bit of everything else in between. So grab yourself a project and let us catch up on the progress that I've been making on my bag. If you are in the UK, happy Mother's Day for the weekend that's just gone. These were my Mother's Day gift, my new over-ear headphones. Let me tell you, they have absolutely changed my life. I used to have a pair of Dre Beats and they broke, and then I kept saying to Brad that I just want a pair and I could just zone out. I've actually had these on all day long. They just take that edge off of like the dog and the baby and all that stuff, but I can still hear what's going on. And then like I just push one back like that and then I can have a podcast running. Yeah, it's just been lovely. And I thought I'm going to keep them on because I have got a little bit of walking around the house to do, and you will be able to hear me, and I will also be able to listen to my podcast while I continue working on the bag. I'm just going to get you up to speed with where we're at. Last video we went through all of the bags that I had ideas for, and I received so many wonderful comments. Thank you so much. I'm going to put a couple of the comments on the screen now. I truly appreciate that you spend the time commenting and let me know what your thoughts are and just reaching out to me. So that's why I really make an effort to make sure I share them here. Just like, I want to be able to say thank you. The very first comment that I got was for the bag that I wanted. So I'll put the bags on the screen. These are the bags that I spoke to you about and we were going through, and I just knew as soon as I posted like which ones I wanted you to vote for. And the first comment I got was like affirmation because it voted specifically for that bag, and that bag is number 6, was it? The Chanel inspired bag, and I've already made a big start on it, and I started creating the mesh. I've got yarn here. So as a recap, this is the Chanel inspired bag. I wanted to do something scrap, and then I was going to make a heart, and I wanted to include the heart in there, and I wasn't sure whether to do the granny square heart. After I recorded that video, I sat and made this heart. No pattern, just freestyled it, and I really like it. So I want to put this heart on the front of the bag where the clasp is, and I have challenged myself to use yarn that I have in my stash. I didn't want to buy any yarn. That has altered ever so slightly, and we will get into that. Because I'm pulling from my stash, I already have rose gold hardware. This is the rose gold chain that I am going to include, and if you recall in the previous video I was talking about putting a thread of the yarn through it to pull through the colour, and I did a tiny little sample of it here just for you to see. So I crocheted a long piece of yarn, and then I did some chains. I did a stitch throughout it, not going to share too much, and I threaded it through, and I think it's going to look really nice like attached to the bag. I just did a tiny little bit just to get a little flavour, but I think that's going to look really effective. I also have rose gold magnetic clasp that is going to be hidden under the heart. And then in terms of the yarn, I wanted to use scrap yarn. I have this panel, which was quite a bit bigger, that was in my abandoned whips slash samples. Like, it was an idea I was working on and I didn't quite like it and it got parked, and so I have been recycling this yarn. It is a strand of black DK held with scraps of DK yarn. It makes this really effective pattern, and I think it really like encapsulates the Chanel vibe. Kind of. Chanel is like really high end, but I really like that tweed look. But anyway, it's Chanel, but make it budget. Make it HGDC actually. I've been using that and I've been recycling it into these 2 panels. So I have made these ones, and I have this panel here. It's got F on it because it's the front panel, and these pieces are going to create that, and then the inside of the magnetic clasp will be there, and then the bag will come down and close here. So there'll be the flap, and then I know there's a lot of ends, but I'm just trying to give you a flavour of what it's going to look like. I think what I'm going to do is make sure that it's this, that the panel that comes over, there isn't any purple or lilac. I'm going to make it quite dark colours just so that the heart does really pop. And I'm also thinking of potentially padding the heart, like making another one and then putting some stuffing in it just so that it's more 3D, so it sticks out a bit more. But I haven't ruled out using a different style of heart either. So I use this plastic mesh. This one is quite a bit thinner than I normally use. I normally get it from Hobbycraft. I got this one from Amazon and it is a lot more flimsy, but I'm going to work with it. And because I got pieces that were basically A4 paper size rather than A3, I had to cut out a piece from another sheet, and then I have just stitched it together in effect with some of the yarn that I was using. Normally I go with the right angle corners, like with a point, but I've tried to curve them. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts. Hoping it's going to work together. And so I have, you might be able to see, ever so slightly rounded the edges of the panels as well. So next on my list is to continue putting the next piece together, which is going to be the bottom. And then I'm going to create a panel that goes over that, and then I have the front. I've actually misplaced a piece for the top. So in terms of this piece, this has got, can you see it? So that's going to be the back of the bag. That's going to be the top, hence why it's marked top. And that's going to be the front panel. And then there should be a tiny piece that comes down like this that I've misplaced. So we need to find that. And that is where the heart is going to sit. And then obviously I'm going to have the bottom, which has the sides in it. And then this is the front piece of the bag. Keeping up with me? Basically, I have made 2 panel pieces and I need to make another 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got another 4 pieces to make, the biggest pieces, and then construct the bag. I really wanted to make an inside pocket, but I just not sure in terms of timing that I have the time, because I have got a week today to get it done. Just before I started recording, we said goodbye to our neighbour. His funeral procession left from his home, our street, and yeah, I very nearly didn't record this because I recorded the video last Tuesday, and Wednesday I got it edited and put up, or something like that. I recorded it early last week, put it up on the Wednesday, and then Thursday night I was up really late getting all these pieces done because we were going on a little mini break the day after. So I stayed up really late and I was putting all of the, like, cutting everything out, getting all the pieces together, making sure I had enough yarn to take with me, because we had like a half-hour journey there, and then I had these images of me sat there crocheting while we were there. And let me tell you, I think I did maybe half a panel on the way home, and that was it. The whole time we were there, we were just playing with Teddy, and I just sat in the sunshine, and Brad and I just had a good chat and spent a lot of time together, and it was really, really wonderful. So I'm glad that I got as much done as I did, because if I didn't have a project, then I bet my bottom dollar that I would have had hours and hours of crochet time that I felt went to waste. But actually I barely touched it. And then over the weekend, so we got back home Saturday. Sunday was sort of like a reset day, and then Monday, Tuesday have just flown by and have been absorbed with going to various garages to get the car sorted out, which is now, we now have that back and it's fixed, by the way. Thank you, Lord, thank you. The countdown is on now, and it's time to sit and really work on this bag. And then one of my cousin's best friends, they were like a group of three, the three amigos, messaged me just to say would I be able to make some more of the hearts, because she would like a few more, and also that she wanted a couple more hearts but in colours to represent the best friends. So my cousin's is the purple, and then her two best friends, one's pink and one's yellow. So I said I would send you the pictures. I don't have the exact purple, but I'll try and get a match and I'll make some. And as I said, like, this weekend I've just been absorbed in things. I've also been in a bit of a funk, and today I've ordered that yarn and it should be arriving Friday. So hopefully I'll have quite a bit of this bag done by Friday, so that I can spend Saturday getting some of this bag sorted out, because I also need to get some of my hair done. So yeah, there's a bit of pressure. Let me show you what I've ordered. Okay, so I've got my yarn pegs created by Eliza in the Draft, and you can find her on Etsy. Yeah, please ignore, they did not arrive like this. This is Teddy playing with them. But it's a sample of every single colour, and they have been so useful. Shout out to my testers for getting this for me for my Christmas present. So this is the heart that was with my cousin on the day that she passed, and I don't have this purple in my stash, so I thought I will check here, and I'll also potentially go to Hobbycraft. And would you believe it, I feel like I found almost the identical match. Let's see if it will show up. This one is like a tiny smidge darker, but it is so close that it wouldn't surprise me if that's the yarn that was used, and maybe it's just a different dye lot that I have. And this is the Vibrant Violet from Yarnsmith Wool Warehouse. And then I sent a picture of the pinks and the yellows and said which ones, and they went with bubblegum and bright yellow. So I have sent her a message asking how many of each heart that she would like, and that is on my to-do list. So with those bits arriving, I could potentially finish this heart off with this colour instead, and then I can thread this colour through the chain so it will be on point with the colour. Or I could make a 3D one of these hearts in the place of this, and I am torn. What would you do? I feel like, oh, come on son, come back. I feel like in terms of being able to see, then maybe that, I don't know, like which one stands out better? Which one would look better? I don't know if the scrap one gets too lost with the scrap background. I didn't know whether to maybe try making one of these with the yarn held double, so it'd be chunky, so it would have a bit more weight to it like this. Which one would you go for? And also, which purple? Do I stick with that purple or go with that one? I do actually prefer this one, but obviously that one has more of a meaning to it. Oh, I think they're back. So yes, that is everything at the moment. I suspect that because the funeral is on Wednesday next week, that I won't have a video up until a little bit later on in the week. So what I'm going to do is edit one of my other videos that I already have ready to go, and I'll put that up, and then the week after you will see how I get on with the bag and whether I finished it and whether I made it to the funeral, whether the bag made it to the funeral. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what I should do about the hearts. Take care.